This is Jeffrey Smith, and we are inside of the Market Recon training module, which is the first module inside of SEO Bootcamp. Now, first and foremost, we're going to cover the mission objective. And so ultimately, the mission objective is market reconnaissance. In this module, we're going to teach you how to target, survey, and evaluate your market. You're going to learn how to extract profitable niches. And most importantly, you're going to know exactly which words are driving the most traffic to your competitors. And the reason for that is it's going to allow you to create a tactical advantage, which is literally going to provide you with the ability to model the best keyword ideas in your website. And if you really think about it, SEO is about reaching more customers, increasing visibility, and improving rankings. However, before you can do any of that, it's important to have a target, and that's where Market Recon comes in. Now, the ultimate benefit of this module is to create a distinguished tactical advantage, and you can do that by using the breadcrumbs and trails that your competitors leave behind, which will allow you to reverse engineer them and put their best keywords to work for you. Now, it's literally like putting all their hard-earned money and most cherished resource, which is their time and error, to your advantage, just by knowing how and where to look. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to cover is the fundamentals of keyword research. Next, we're going to cover different research methods, tactics, and tools, and we're going to cover both the free methods that you can use, and we're also going to cover paid tools that really help to expedite the process so you can really get to it. And lastly, we're going to show you how to organize and deploy all the keyword data that you find, all those various keywords and modifiers into your site structure to create a strategic competitive advantage. Just as the previous slide implies, let's start off with the fundamentals of keyword research. Now, the most common format is you're going to find keywords with high search volume and low competition. And what I mean by competition is the number of competing pages that are actually fighting for that search phrase. Another method is you can prioritize by using a high pay-per-click or value cost. So for example, if you know that somebody's paying, $7 a click for a keyword, there's some commercial intent behind it, because nobody's going to pay that much to drive traffic to a page for every click if there weren't conversions attached to it. So we use high pay-per-click cost as a medium to determine the viability of if that's a commercial query that's actually worth targeting for our organic campaign, meaning our natural organic SEO campaign. We're going to cover the difference between educational and transactional queries. Educational, obviously, it's people looking for more information on something that aren't really ready to purchase. The transactional queries, on the other hand, they're typically accompanied by different types of modifiers, which leads into the next component, which is how modifiers impact sales. One of the most common modifiers used is the word reviews. And so if somebody's looking for a keyword plus reviews, they want to know what other people think because they're actually intending on purchasing something like that. So there's ways that we can use those different modifiers in our research to really isolate the types of buyers that we'd like to purchase our products or services. So typically things like best, leading, cheap, affordable, lowest price for, etc. are typical types of modifiers that people would place as a prefix or a suffix to their search query. So we're going to cover that as well once we get into the over-the-shoulder training. And real quick, since we're in the fundamentals, I want to make one point clear, that it's really important to ask and answer questions in content when you're targeting informational or educational keywords. And this appeals to Google's Hummingbird algorithm. And what that is, in a nutshell, is it's machine learning. And that means that machines can actually read your content, they can understand the context of the phrases that you use, and then try to match that intent up with the person that's searching. So, for example, if I'm talking about the word diamond and on the page the word luster or shiny appears, it knows that I'm talking about a physical diamond. But if I see the word hot dog or mitt on the page, then it knows that I'm talking about a baseball diamond. So search engines use these types of algorithms to ascertain what the subject matter of that page is so that it can rank it accordingly. Another thing to consider is you might hear terms like head, mid-tail, or long-tail queries, and you're wondering what they are. Well, essentially the head phrase would be something like the word car. A mid-tail phrase might be used cars, and a long-tail query might be something like used cars for under $2,000. And so that really just shows you the distinction between a head, a mid-tail, or a long-tail query, which really boils down to how basic or broad the phrase is when people are actually looking for things. And essentially, mid-tails are 2 to 3 words, and 3 words or more is considered a long-tail query. So just to get that out of the way in case you hear that later in the course and you're trying to figure out what that means. So questions are also a great way to target long tail queries and knowledge graph results. And Google now has a knowledge graph. So it's compiling all this data based on people asking questions. And it also says like people also searched for or people also asked, and you'll see all the questions that are pertaining to a specific topic. So that actually will appear above search results in most instances. So it's really important to make sure that you're positioning yourself for that too. So we're going to go into all that, don't worry, but I just wanted to give you an example of some of the things that we're going to be covering. So now that we've covered the mission objective and we've touched on keyword research fundamentals, as well as a few different methods and why you should also think about using questions for positioning, let's get into the tools that we plan to use to mine this vital information. Now, while there might be an argument for most about free versus paid tools and which are the way to go, in my honest opinion, you get what you pay for. Now, if you have lots of time on your hands and you don't mind doing a lot of extra work, you can use all the free tools that you'd like, but keep in mind there's going to be some blind spots that you could actually just take care of by just using some paid tools just to get this most important step out of the way, which is making sure that you're targeting the right phrases. And so saving time means saving money. And keep in mind the purpose of any tool is to create more insight. You still have to have strategy to make the data useful. So some of the tools that we're going to use are Google Search, which is absolutely free. We're going to be looking at the People Also Ask, aka the knowledge graph, as well as related search. We're going to take a look at Google Trends and how you can use that. We're going to look at Alchemy API, which is a tool from Watson and IBM that really is cutting edge for sentiment analysis, which is really what is your content about. LSI graph, which stands for latent semantic indexing, which is a really fancy term that simply shows you the relationship between phrases. When you enter a root phrase, it's going to show you all the other things that are associated with it. So LSI graph is a free tool. There's another tool called Answer the Public that we're going to show you, which is really great because it's going to actually show you all of the questions that people are asking about your topic. Quora, Ask.com, Answer.com, Yahoo Answers, and Growth Hackers are also great places to find questions so that you can position that in your content, your social media content, your supporting articles, places on your blog and your site that are great to actually get new visitors into your site. Some of the paid tools we're going to be using, on the contrary, is SEMrush, which is absolutely one of my favorites. And we have a special promotion where we're actually going to give you a way to use SEMrush for free for 14 days. So we'll provide that in a link for you. Another tool that's really amazing for actually scraping 16 different competitors from the first and second page of the search results and shows you all the different keywords and modifiers and synonyms that they're using in their content, along with ratios that you can actually check your content against. This is a really amazing tool. That's one of our favorites that we use when writing content. We're also going to show you Power Suggest Pro, which is going to show you all the different Google instant search results, or all of the auto-suggested or auto-fill results that you see in Google when you start typing a question. It mines those. And then for the market research, we're going to use SimilarWeb. So let's go ahead and get started.